good evening. It's going to be, it might look like yet another team talk session, but today is going to be really, really special. And the reason for this being special can only be attributed to the presence of Mr. Vikram Subraj, the Chief Executive Officer and co-founder of the Kyoto's cryptocurrency exchange. So to tell a little about Mr. Vikram, so he is that kind of person who all our parents would want to be, like study in bits and do their MBA in one IIM and work in a global company like Amazon. He's got that perfect career trajectory, and to top it all up, he has been in the crypto space ever since 2017, and he has been the co-founder of the Gyotos cryptocurrency exchange ever since then. And it's one of the brands that put that put India in the crypto map of the world. And it's such a pleasure to have him, someone who has witnessed all the progressions of the crypto space, the blockchain evolution, and its diversification in terms of how it has manifested into multiple things that give different utilities. So let us hear from the person of the hour itself, Mr. Vikram. Vikram, it would be good if you can tell us a little about yourself for the community so that they know what an awesome person they're gonna have to listen to today. And
Yeah.
you can call me Caffeinist or just Caff.
Okay. First of all, thanks, Gav, for that very, very kind words. I'm really not sure if my parents listen to this, they'll be, buying into whatever you said, right? Yeah. So quickly about me. Me and Arjun, we both started Geotas in 2017, right? It's been 5+ years for us in the crypto exchange ecosystem. Right. Prior to that, just like most of you all are, we were crypto enthusiasts. I was working with Amazon, but pretty much into reading a lot of products, trading cryptos, and all that. There came a point wherein I realized, I was spending more time into cryptos than my work there. That's when I thought, let me do justice to whatever I'm spending most of my time to. That's how Geota started. Currently we are a 1.2 million plus user base exchange. Have a strong user base in especially in the southern parts of India. Um, um, so that's quickly about Geotas. Let me not talk a lot about Geotas here and bore you guys with topics on exchanges, right? Yeah, that's quickly from my side, Gav. If you want to delve in detail about anything, I'll be happy to do.
I think the kind of introduction you have given is really lovely, inspirational to say the least. How you have chosen to follow something that's after your own heart, and that too with a glaze of entrepreneurship. I think that's something that everyone aspires to, but everyone is afraid of doing. So it's lovely to have someone who has taken the road less traveled, but the road everyone wants to travel in. It's fantastic, Vikram. Thank you so much for that introduction. So without further ado, let's get into picking your intellect for your thoughts on the play to earn ecosystem, since you are into the crypto space and you have seen how blockchain has drastically modified the landscape of gaming and earning and money in general. I think like you would be a really apt person to give your insights and throw your light on. So let's start with one of the most basic questions that a lot of people who understand that basic demand supply will have. So if P2E model is something where people can play and earn continuously, how is this economically sustainable? So what ensures that there is a healthy balance between demand and supply on the in the P2E landscape?
Yeah. Now, going a bit backwards to answer this question right now, with every advancement that has happened in the crypto ecosystem, there is a new industry, not just one new industry. It gives rise to a lot of new industries being created or existing industries being innovated, right? Now, when NFTs came into being, it is not that suddenly NFTs came into being. There has been quite some time since the talks of NFTs were there. A lot of projects came even before, but last 1.5 years has been a very critical phase for the NFT markets per se, right? So with NFTs coming into play and quite a few projects which also came into fray with their own innovations, there is this new industry that it has started, right? Wherein if I see existing gaming market, wherein the major model has been, there is this, let's consider the Web2 gaming per se, wherein the major model is, there is this centralized entity or group of developers wherein they build games and give it to the consumers, and consumers, when they play the game, either they do in-game spends or other activities that generally made the centralized entity richer, right? All the value add was happening to that single entity which was producing these games. Though it was the gamers who were spending their time, effort, and money into the ecosystem, right? So this ideally became a very good case to solve for a decentralization matrix, right? Now that is where the key of P2E games came into being, right? How do I take the value added that is currently centralizedly going to one entity and give it back to the ecosystem. Now, your question when it comes is, can this earning become sustainable, right? The key thing to answer for that is, how are the games designed, right? If the games are going to be designed in a way wherein the only motive of the NFTs within the game or the in-app merchandises within the game, if the value is made only when it exchanges hands or when there's a secondary market, so that's a troubling model wherein that will be tough to say that that it will be sustainable at a longer period of time. But having said that, if the game is designed in a way that there is an economy which not just depends upon selling your NFTs to another person, right? But holding it also creates a value, either by renting or anything. It creates a value within itself. Then that is a model that could start becoming sustainable. Uh, Further, from the perspective of again sustainability, I strongly believe that for the play to earn markets to be sustainable, they should also start garnering revenues outside the P2E models, either in the form of advertisements or any model. There should be a revenue that should be coming from outside the ecosystem, so that that overall value add is spread and enjoyed by everyone in the ecosystem. So sustainability, still, when I see a lot of P2E markets, still there's a lot of work that has to be done. But having said that, there are quite a lot of innovations that are happening in space. Hopefully, a lot of these models will bring in this component, where there is also an external revenue that is to be earned rather than just swapping the tokens, NFT tokens.
That's yeah, that's extremely detailed. Thank you so much, Vikram. So I think you have, like for the lack of a better word and for my affinity for math, you have factorized that one question into all the possible components that could be, that could be a part of the question. What was the problem with Web2 gaming and how was it not sustainable? And how is Web3 gaming inherently sustainable? And what could be made to make it more sustainable than just depending on a closed ecosystem by opening up? It was really wonderful, really detailed. Thank you so much. And it's a really insightful answer. Thank you. It was wonderful. So now that you have talked about sustainability and how P2E gaming is like, what to say, for common people, the most lucrative manifestation of blockchain and NFTs, and the most favorite element of Web3, I would say, because at the end of the day, it earns the money for their
Yeah.
leisure. It earns the money for their entertainment and engagement. So, but the only challenge that I wouldn't say the only challenge. One of the challenges is that um, this entire P2E ecosystem is confined to just a few games. So, what is it that stops other games from exploring this kind of possibility? And is it even possible? So, is there any kind of limitation that would that would limit the proliferation of P2E games in all directions?
Yeah. See, I would have a bit of counter view over here. See, in the sense, the whole blockchain as a technology itself, right? And in many a places, it is just force fitted, right? Many a projects you will notice that there is no need for a blockchain there at all, right? But still, people pulled on a blockchain just for the fancy of it, right? Now, my view on the P2P market is it is not necessary for every or many or a lot of games which are currently in Web 2 to come into this space, right? There are specific games which could or specific model of games that could really be useful in using the blockchain tech and having these P2Es built in it. See, for example, one of the most agreeable use cases when you have an in-game skin which is currently being sold by the entity which creates the game, and they take all the value, rather if it is being sold by an existing user to another users which can be reused, that is an economy that is being created within users. So these use cases are good to have. But having said that, when there is an argument of if I want to have all these games in the blockchain and see if it is how it is going to work, I'm not sure if it is a good argument to take. We have to see if there is a need for decentralization there. Is there a need for an NFT there? Will there be a value add for the customer if there is an NFT there? I think uh, what's good for the ecosystem from my perspective even is uh, a few good projects they'll have to come into this ecosystem which really feel that there is a need of blockchain, or need of a crypto to run these projects, rather than pushing every Web 2 project in this ecosystem as well. Because why that is very important is the first major thing in this play to earn market is the play part, where the game should be exciting, the game should be entertaining. I think with few focused entities trying to crack it, I feel that there'll be a lot of focus in first making the game entertaining and then building in the product of earning into it, and not the other way around, which few projects are trying to do, where we see the game is not that entertaining, but they are just forcing it to the point of view that okay, you can take this NFT and you can make money in the later. That should change, right? So from that perspective, I feel that okay, lesser good projects are much better than for this ecosystem than bringing in all the projects into this ecosystem.
Thank you again, Vikram. I think like this is uh, a much needed perspective. So instead of creating a game with the desperation of using a blockchain, it should be rather creating a game with a perfect need for using a blockchain, using blockchain and NFTs, right? So make it that would make the entire ecosystem better, right?
Yeah.
All right, and yeah, so thank you for that insight. I think it's I love that. I love the fact that it's unabashedly critical and how you have chosen not to mince words. And there are certain times when spades need to be called spades. Thank you so much for that answer. And about a few minutes ago, you were talking about how economic sustainability can be achieved using uh, some external factors that bring in the capital value, money for simpler terms. So if we were to think about something like that, so can we envision a world where we have P2E games, brands, and metaverses coexisting. So, how promising is that kind of future, and how is this triumvirate gonna turn the world of gaming?
Yeah, I think that is the best culmination point for the ecosystem, right? Considering there should be sustainability, considering there should be a good experience that the customer has to get, and at the end of the day, people have to earn and also have ownership of the project, right? It's when these three things come together, there is a culmination of all these factors. One, the experience that metaverse brings in, right? There are quite a few projects which are coming in metaverse. I don't know, uh, which are showing a lot of potential and growth. Now, when that gets mixed with brands coming in to bring in the component of a sustainable revenue, see, that is when the project attains this a good potential or a good potential to grow in the future, right? See, so let's just take a lot of instances right now. When there is a model, a closed ecosystem, wherein there are quite a few products, wherein ownership or NFT ownership is given to customers, the only e-commerce that is happening there is the trade between the customers on that NFT, right? Now, that commerce is more dependent on new users coming into this ecosystem. Uh, Now, how do we break that and make sure that the commerce or the growth is not just dependent on the new users, but also the revenue this project can generate because of its own stature, right? So that is when someone like an external force, a brand which can come in, they can brand within the metaverse ecosystem. Just like for example, just like how you can you see brands in the stadiums and all when there is a matches happening, right? See, at the end of the day, I also see this like how a Brave browser works, right? Now, I get bad tokens because they're wanting my attention, right? It's the
Yeah.
similar scenario here. In the metaverse, when I'm playing my game, I'm also giving my attention there, right? So it's an ideal scenario for me to be paid there. Now, when that model comes in, what will happen is the project as such is going to earn revenue without the need of the NFT, secondary commerce to happen. Now, that value generated can be shared within the community, and a part of it can also be given to the developer community for that NFT project or the play to earn project. So that's an ideal culmination when all these 3 points come together, where we can argue that okay, there's a better experience in metaverse, which is not there in the current Web2 ecosystems, and it is decentralized and it has got a sustainable model which doesn't depend on new people adding into the ecosystem, right? So I feel that it's an ideal end game for a lot of these P2 earn projects to make it successful in the future.
Thank you, Vikram. That's wonderful insight, and I really love the way you drew parallels with a couple of things. One is how there are real world sponsorships, and how you brought in the Brave browser, that little basic attention token. I think it's kind of all falls into place because what matters is that there is some kind of a reflection of the real world economics that is brought into the metaverse as well. And if incorporation of brands into the metaverse gaming ecosystems can be brought in, I think it's a good code crack. Thank you for the insight, Vikram. And so we have talked a lot about P2E, and so P2E is something that has redefined gaming, because like as you've told in the beginning, it's not the centralized companies that just that have a convex convergence of the profit, but it's more towards the community. So how would you look at this kind of, I mean, this particular layer? Is it the end of, or the point of culmination of what I mean, how ideally it should have been, the gaming ecosystem should have been, or is it a beginning of something new that would develop even further?
Um, the way I see it is, this is going to be a for quite some time, I mean, for few more years at least, there's going to be a parallel gaming ecosystem that is going to exist, right? Uh, because there are quite a few questions that have to be solved. For a game to become very engaging, or a game, current Web 2 games, be it your Warcraft, your Skyrim, and all these games which are extremely engaging. Can such games be built in, such engaging games be built in Web3 ecosystem, and have a backend where there are these NFTs which can be used for the in-game purchases and all. So we have to see this ecosystem grow, right? When we can see this ecosystem grow, and when we become confident that okay, there can be such very engaging games in this ecosystem, then I think we will be in a better position to comment that this should have been the ideal way that the gaming environment should have grown, and not how it is existing currently. Uh, because the P2E game should give a feeling that we want to play first, then think about earning it. So that's my thought process. I could be wrong in a lot of sense. Ideally, that is how I feel. Only when games get that point of view, they could come to this or build an environment that Web3 is much more better for this ecosystem than Web2. When they put the games to be more sophisticated, more better looking, with more excitement that is coming into the place, that's when you can come to draw a parallel, or you can make a bold statement saying that ideally this is how it should have been built and not the way it has been built in Web 2. I think we are yet to come to that state to make such a bold argument, but a lot of advancements are happening, but still there's a long way to go.
All right. So, from what you have said, I think the the extrapolation can happen. I mean, the extrapolation looks promising considering how the points of the future have been plotted. It does look promising, I guess. And
Yeah.
uh, I really like this particular statement where you have said the playing experience should be the biggest magnet for the players. But anything said, we have this kind of inertia, right? So we are used to something, and we kind of take time to quickly get into something that redefines the that kind of changes the status quo. So until now, people were thinking, okay, fine, like I just enjoy a game, that's it, like I spend my time, I spend my effort, that's it, I'm entertained, I'm back. And suddenly there is this concept of earning from gaming that is thrown into the grind. And it's quite possible that people have that little resistance, that little impedance in embracing this concept because of a lot. I mean, there are a lot of factors. So, what are the factors that are dragging people? I mean, what are the deterring factors for people in embracing P2E, and how do you think they can be addressed?
I mean, see, the part one, what is first exciting them is uh, till though they have been playing games. Let's consider every day it's 1 hour of games that they've been playing at least, right? And now they can get to do that and also earn money, right? So that's the exciting part. Now, the part where there's a hindrance is it as exciting as the games I was playing earlier, right? Now, then there is a clear decision making that happens there, right? Now, okay, it is not as exciting, but still I'm able to earn good amount of money. Should I go ahead? Or in few projects, it has been as exciting as what it has been, even in the Web2 ecosystems, right? So the as far as I see, the clear impedance is the gaming experience that can be given, right? Now, why I'm again re-emphasizing on the fact that the focus again in play to earn should be on the play part, right? Because you might come into the ecosystem to earn in the ecosystem, but after some point of time, if there is not much to do in the ecosystem, be it a PvP, player to player, or player versus environment, any type of game, if there is a bit of boredom that gets struck, right? And when when the new user additions are getting low, a lot of these games, might not have a greater future. So in that perspective, right, it is a good earning opportunity if the game is being built in a way that it is also engaging, right? So again, though it is earned, I think the first major focus should be on play for every project that is working on. Earn is more of, now I'm spending 10 minutes of my time in this game, or now let's say 1 hour of my time in this game. Let me spend another half an hour, right, so that I can make some extra money. But for him to first get into this game, right, come play that 1 hour initially, that requires the game to be engaging, right? So whatever said and done, right, even though there is a greater earning opportunity that can come only with a greater playing experience, right? I think I'm reiterating this, whatever may be the format, right? If be it play to earn, or projects like Stepen, where you walk to earn, or any of these activity-based projects, right? The first thing, that should be considered is the activity should be engaging. It should be so engaging that, it also excites newer people to come to the ecosystem and the existing people to continue doing that activity in the ecosystem, right? So I think that's there have been a lot of good games that have gotten people to this ecosystem, uh, but yeah, there should be a continuous focus that have to be gotten, because there are a lot of things that has to be worked on. Say for example, one of the things that a lot of projects are working on is, you have an NFT. Now, how can I port this NFT to other games within the ecosystem, right? Can I reuse these NFTs that I have, right? This is where a lot of games are working on, primitives, right? See, for example, you own an NFT of a piece of a land, right? Or you own an NFT of a jacket, right? Now, if this particular ecosystem is building other games, can I use the NFT that I bought in one game in the other game? Like I own this piece of land in this game. Will I be owning the same in the other game? Right? Will there be a way of bridging things so that I can use my NFTs across a lot of games and platforms? Now, when a lot of these use cases and problems are being solved, what it also does is, when I'm getting bored with one game, I can move on to the other game with the same ownership, right? So a lot of these retention or the customer retention activities and customer easing activities have to be done. So the P2P, P2E not just becomes earning, but also exciting.
All right. So, like you made it sound as if, P2E is, play to excite yourself, kind of like that. Thank you. And it's so the direction that you have brought in terms of interdependent gaming ecosystems where one NFT finds utility in another ecosystem, and how we can create an intertwined uh, gaming metaverse that brings a lot of
Yeah.
non-linear earning opportunities would be like really good. So you make it sound as if like you have a gaming asset that could have multiple utilities in multiple games, and that would encourage people to just get into buying that asset, which will entitle them to
Yeah.
play any one of these games, which will keep up the engagement and excitement aloft, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a really novel idea, and it's an interesting perspective. Thank you, Vikram. So now you have been talking about how money is a really exciting thing, but in the long run, what matters is that you have a great game that impresses people, that keeps people coming for more. So if not for money, and if not for that excitement and engagement, what other benefits do you think that people will get when they involve themselves in P2E gaming, like probably at a global level?
See, see, like the earlier point I took in, right. Now what ideally we're trying to do is doing a shift, right, from centralized entities creating projects and reaping benefits out of that projects, making millions out of the projects, you are wanting to break those entities and have gaming projects which are uh, where the value add is given back to customers, right? This is a great economic level shift that will happen, right? And if Web3 is able to crack all these promises, then it's a new age almost for the gaming ecosystem, right? That's a major shift. It's like a major power shift that is happening, that could also start defining the future of games that we are going to have. The existing monopolies or the existing mega players in these areas are not going to find a place in this ecosystem. The shift in power, if the Web3 is able to deliver its promises, that is going to be a great deal that should be looked forward, because it's going to redefine every game we are going to play, right? And how assets are going to be traded. It creates a newer economy, right? An economy which was not there till date. Suddenly creates a new economy. It's a tradable economy. It creates new assets in this ecosystem, right? As in assets for investment. Suddenly, you could have people who might say that I have so and so in-game, gaming NFTs as my asset, right? So these are all behavioral investment level changes that could happen in future, given that Web3 delivers its promise.
All right. So I think we have ended this session on a note of very possible utopia. It's not something that would not happen, but it's going to take its course, and it's going to take a lot of convergence and resonance for it to happen. And Vikram, it was like really wonderful conversing with you, and the perspectives that you brought into the discussion there. Um, for a lot of us, they are quite novel. The angles in which you think, it was all really fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, and we hope to have you in one of our future sessions as well. Thank you for your insights. Thank you for your um,
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a
new
lot, Kath.
perspectives.
It was wonderful having a discussion with you and the community. I mean, thanks to you for asking those questions which could kindle the thought process. I was really enjoying answering the questions, and hope to have more sessions in future.
The thought is resonant here. Thank you so much, Vikram.
Thank you. Have a
We'll
great
see you
day,
soon.
guys. Have a great weekend then. Bye bye.
Bye, Vikram. So I hope the community did enjoy the team talk session with Mr. Vikram Subraj, and I'm sure all of us enjoyed the perspectives that this guy brought in. So now I think we are gonna have to encounter a really new and unintroduced and completely novel person into this discussion. And for those who are ready to get angry with me, let me introduce to you Gamer One. Gamer One, can you please come up?
Yeah, I hope I'm audible now. Yeah.
Yes, Gamer One, you're audible. Yeah, and I think the community is back to listening to the rants of two people who they have always been used to.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of everything, Gamer One, like just wanted to know your perspective on the conversation with and comments by Vikram. So, what do you think about it? How did you perceive his viewpoints to be?
Yeah, so the perspectives brought in by Vikram are very unique, especially with his take on, that we need to focus on the play factor, and earnings should be more of a secondary kind of output to it. So basically, that also boils down to when you have more of something, it becomes monotonous. But when you do attach an entertainment factor to it, that's what keeps it going.
That was one of my favorite points as well. Glad we resonate, Gamer One. And so, let us, step into community questions. So,
Yeah.
we have a couple of new features, I guess. One is the upgrade card history, and yeah, okay, let's go with the features one by one. So, what is this upgrade card history? Yeah, what is this upgrade card history, and how is it gonna work?
Yeah, so I think a lot of you guys have come across two new feature updates to our marketplace. So the first one being upgrade card history. So as you know, like from every kit box that you guys open up, you receive a mix of upgrade cards. What we have done now is allow you guys to track from which tournament you guys have received these cards. So, for example, if you have played in Grand Slam 3 or Super Clash 4, you know exactly what cards you have received from Grand Slam 3 and Super Clash 4. And in case for those who haven't seen this feature yet, you can simply go to your jump trade profile, navigate to the my card section, and there's a card history option over there which will allow you to view your collected upgrades organized by the tournaments you have played in.
All right. So this is going to open up the entire history of upgrades. So just out of curiosity, what do you think is going to help users with respect to this particular feature?
So this is more of an audit trail kind of function, which is like you can understand where your upgrades are coming from, and also like how much upgrades you're getting from based on the tournament performance of yours, as well as the tournament series that you're playing in. So it gives a kind of transparency on that end.
That's really great, and so it would be good for users to know that they are getting upgrades. It kind of gives a very, as you said, a very transparent window of looking at the upgrades that they have been receiving and how their efforts have been rewarded.
Yeah.
And the second feature is the buy limit order. So what's the purpose of that feature, and how is it gonna work?
Yeah, so I think the other feature that we have rolled out is the buy limit order. And for people who are not from a crypto trading background or maybe a stock trading background, a buy order is basically a buy limit order is basically an instruction to buy an item at a specific price. So, for example, if you're planning to buy a rookie batsman on jump.trade marketplace, but the batsman that you're looking for is trading right now for $30. You can simply create a buy limit order for a specific price. In this case, you want to buy it for $26. And later in time, when that particular rookie batsman does get listed for $26, you get an alert, a notification, and once you follow through the notification, you'll be redirected to the buy page, and you can then proceed and complete your order. So what this does is, uh, you can keep track of NFT assets that you really like, and that way you can collect them at the price that you wish for. So a lot of a lot of NFTs, like exchange hands every day. So like you guys can keep track of any NFT that is going for a price of your liking.
Okay, so this I think will reduce the regrets that people will have with respect to missing out NFTs because they did not even know that it was listed in the first place. I think this a fantastic feature, and it elevates the stance of NFTs as tradable assets and assets that need to be purchased at certain prices. I think this is a wonderful feature, and I'm very sure the community will make use of this thing when we have tournaments that are like category specific or things like that.
Yeah,
And all right, and the next one is with respect to so a few issues. So what's the what's contributing to them, and how is it gonna work? How are you gonna proceed with that?
So we are working very closely with our third-party payment processor, and as I mentioned in the previous EMA as well, a lot of congestion for both deposits and withdrawals are occurring from their end. We are working very closely with them. In the meantime, a lot of users have also raised tickets for withdrawals, especially with respect to the rewards they get from contests. So for that, we have clearly mentioned those contest rewards. They cannot be redeemed very immediately. So there's a cooling down period for them, and those users can definitely go ahead and redeem them after that cooldown period is over. The next thing is I will also suggest that users pay attention to the type of cryptocurrency they're depositing. Jump.trade only accepts USDT in ERC20 and BEP20 token standards, and also on the Polygon network. So make sure that you're not sending, a cryptocurrency out of this, which is like, do not send us anything apart from USDT, and make sure that it's on the correct network protocol as well. In the meantime, seeing, witnessing how much trouble our users have to go through withdrawals and deposits, we are planning to create our own payment gateway system. This still in early stage talks. This way, if we do have our own system in place, it's easier to allow deposits and withdrawals. But yeah, we are still discussing that.
It kind of sounded like William Shakespeare, who created his own words in English to ensure that his thoughts are reflected correctly. But I guess the direction, yeah, I guess the direction is like really fantastic, because at the end of the day, what matters is that our users and our community get the process done without any lapses or hiccup. And I think it's only right for us to do whatever it takes to make it smoother for them. And so the game, it's all poised to be complete in 50 days, and there should be something that is in store for the users. So what are the new features that are coming up in the game?
So we are very excited that we have successfully completed 50 days since launch. So it's kind of a half century for us in some way. But as far as the new features that our development team has been working on, so the first thing is we are rolling out some new animations for both fielding and catches. So as and when you play the game, you can come across this animation. This is in addition to the additional two each that we had rolled out the previous month. So this month we are adding a few more new animations for fielding and catches. The next thing is, I think, what everyone was waiting for and everyone has suggested, which is the fixed match tournament format. So in the fixed match tournament format, like users will be able to play an equal number of matches. Right now, this particular format is in the final stages of testing internally. And once we are ready to go live, we will keep you guys posted. And also, once we finally like bring in the fixed match format. So what this brings in is it ensures that we also have a diversity of tournaments to organize. So right now we do already have the normal tournament structure. We also have the category only tournament structure, and soon down the line we'll have the fixed match tournament format as well. We're also like working on bringing in a couple of emojis that you can use in between when you're playing the match. So this way, you can congratulate or taunt or even tease your opponent with an emoji. And apart from this, we are also working on organizing multiple tournaments daily and at the same time. So two tournaments running simultaneously. We are still at a very initial discussion phase, but the development team is going to be picking up this next. And what we're looking at is if we are able to support concurrent users for both tournaments as well as the feasibility for organizing these tournaments. Speaking of that support, as you know, in the last EMA, have also mentioned, which is we are working on building new functionalities to support around 10,000 or more players concurrently. Uh, this is because mainly because we also do have many new users logging in every day, and also on the server sides, we are making some changes to ensure like a smooth gaming and multiplayer experience. Uh, and I think to top it off, like we have been 50 days down the line, and we are also like expanding our dev team. One of the key hire has been a very experienced member from the gaming ecosystem. The person who is joining us carries more than 15 years of experience building games and apps, and especially when it comes to cricket game development. And some of the existing cricket games that they have worked on have gone on to like fetch more than 50 crore in downloads. So I'm very excited with how things are shaping up both game wise as well as uh, uh, internally. And as far as the marketplace side of things, we are in talks with Flipkart right now. This is still very early, like to create a common order book with their marketplace, which is the Firedogs marketplace. And that way, what we are discussing with them is a way to display our jump trade NFTs, like also on their marketplace. This way, we can give visibility. We can get visibility from their marketplace cloud as well, which like amounts to more than 250 million users. And but again, I would like to mention that this is still at a very early stage.
That was one big,
Yeah,
flurry of
very big
features.
update.
Yeah, but like as a fan of Test cricket, one of my favorite things in the entire list of updates that you told is how you can sledge using emojis. It's kind of like that, right? So you are taunting the opponent instead of using words, you're just using emojis. I think it's going to be a really interesting feature. It may be trivial, but I think for the spirit of cricket, for how fun is there in cricket, these things really matter a lot. And see, Gamer One, there are so many features that are coming in, and you're also gonna rev up the capacity of uh, the game engine to take more than 10,000 players. Uh, that would mean that, like we will need to have a lot more people playing the game, and I think it necessitates some real good marketing. So, what's the plot for the marketing of the game?
Yeah, so marketing wise, we are very focused on like improving the brand building around the game, for which we have already started performance marketing. We're doing like a lot of performance marketing ads, and we are like positioning this ads on the lines of RMG gaming, like other RMG games, which as like they keep the entire onboarding process of new users very simple, very easy, and also they kind of summarize the entire complexity around an RMG game, like makes it very easy to understand for the end user, which also goes a long way in the onboarding. So we are trying a similar approach. While that is being done, like we still have to work around all the regulations that come that the different social platforms do have around cryptocurrency, blockchain, and RMG gaming ads. So we are working very closely on that. Apart from it, as you guys know, we had already associated with NAS Daily, and it's still under the wraps, but we are working together to create a Web3 community. And once we do have more updates on this, we will share them with you guys.
Thank you, Game One. So it was, I think this association with NAS Daily is going to be like really fantastic. I hope it's more than 39% loading when it comes to your work thingy. Okay, and so now let us get into the parts which I'm not very sure you will enjoy, but I'm still gonna go ahead because the community needs to know. When are we bringing in the NFT rentals?
Yeah, so as you know, guys, it's the development process is a very long drawn one. So it does take time to build these features. From our side, we have like completed the initial documentation that is required for building the rental module, as well as we are already in talks with a couple of gaming guilds on how we can further the insights that they bring from other P2E games, as well as the experience from gamers that they have who have previously done rental as well. So we are constantly taking these suggestions as well. But the entire development process is it's a very slow as well as very iterative one where we have to keep rolling back and doing changes. So once we are nearing the now with a live build for rental, we will let you guys know.
Okay, thank you so much, Gamer One. And the next thing is something that people have been asking. So we have that question from Darsh. We have that question from Wolf. I guess I'm not very sure. Uh, so, what's the status of the game with respect to its arrival on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store?
Yeah, so this is, again a throwback to the previous AMA. So I did mention that we have received some changes from the Google team. And again, they did have, because they are unclear about what, like crypto gaming constitutes. So there's some ambiguity over there, as well as, like the regulatory stances from the Indian government, like it's not clear where crypto does stand. So we do have some obstacles over there, both development wise as well as legal. But coming back to the feedback that we have received from Google team, we are, they suggested us to probably build a free-to-play mode for the game. That way, making like the listing for the game on the Play Store becomes easier. For which we are, like still we're still deliberating on it. But like once we do have some clarity on that, because we also need to look at it from a legal perspective as well. So we are working on that. Apart from it, some of you guys asked about the web browser version of the game. We are working on one. Still, very early build, because we need to ensure that uh, uh, since we don't want any packet data loss happening when the game does go on the web browser. Apart from it, we need to make sure that the game size is is optimized for different web browsers, and also it's not a very heavy game as well. So we need to make sure that the end user does have a seamless gameplay experience.
Okay, so I think it's more a lot of processes and restrictions and a lot of regulatory intricacies that go into getting the game out. And yeah, I guess that's all what we have for the day, Gamer One. So, do you have any questions from the community?
Yeah, so I think someone's asking about the finale for Super Clash. I think King Chauhan as well as the Stadium NFTs. So for the Super Clash, like we're still like pushing the sponsor very hard to like go ahead and come on board. for it. But until then, we're going to be continuing with the Super Clash. But ideally, what sponsors do want is from day one itself, they want to, sponsor the event, so that way they have more visibility for the brand, as well as more visibility throughout the tournament. So that is what they require from their end. But from our end, we want, we're looking at the user's perspective as well. So we are still in discussion with the sponsor. Apart, as far as the stadium NFT goes, uh, there's we have a lot of open development points on our plate right now, because we also working on uh, bringing new tournament formats, as well as the Play Store registration. Apart from it, also bringing in some marketplace changes. So over there, it's still taking some time, but as I mentioned in the previous EMA as well, the stadium NFTs have taken a backseat for now, but we are we haven't lost sight of the stadium NFTs, but we are going to be picking them up once our initial development goals are met. Apart from it, we also are focusing on user onboarding. So we do want more users as well to be a part of the game. And yeah, I think Rohit 2101 is asking about the rental system. As I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, which is we have created the initial documentation required, and also working closely with other guilds for the insights from both the admins and players, and you guys as well. You can shoot your suggestions over here. We are always considering whatever you guys uh, do post here in Discord. So the development time for the rental module will take some time, because it's a whole new function in itself. So we need to work on it.
Thank you, Game On. I think a lot of questions have been really addressed. So,
And I think there's another question about which both Darsh and King Chauhan has been asking about, is 2FA. So we are, we do have a build for the 2FA. I think once that's ready, maybe later this month, we might be rolling it out, the 2FA feature for the for your jump trade account.
all right. So, I think it's a wrap for now, because we have gone into the 7 p.m. mark, and it was, I think, a really wonderful team talk session, and it was quite an insightful one with Vikram, and an informative one with you regarding the features and the future plans. And it's happy
Yeah.
to see the way the game is progressing, and let's look forward to the next team talk session as well. And I hope our community enjoys playing the game in the week, and in spite of all the um, disappointment involving India's exit from the Asia Cup, and in the joy of Virat scoring his century. I think let's
We
all.
with a bang.
Sorry.
I think we went out of the Asia Cup with a bang.
Yeah, yeah.